Good morning, everyone. It is Monday, and hope everyone enjoyed our AJ heavy weekend of content here on Pop. We had a lot of really awesome things that were taken care of this week, so go back on the Pop playlist and check out these videos. On Friday, we posted the new movie reviews for the week. We talked about Turbo and R.I.P.D. and The Conjuring, and also talked about Pawn Shop Chronicles, as well as Red 2. So all that is available for Friday. On Saturday, if you didn't get a chance to check it out, it is the latest in the Summer of Tarantino, AJ discussing Jackie Brown. So go check that out. And on Sunday, as always, we had our Versus, which this week was very action-packed. Die Hard versus Speed. So all that came out this weekend, and all that was really awesome, and if you have not seen it yet, go back, seriously, go check it out. It's really, really great content here on Pop. I do want to throw out something real quick, and this is really, really awesome. I love this. I want to get the right number here so I'm not losing my mind. Okay. It is storming outside. So, worst comes to worst, we're covered. So, basically what we're going to do is, I want to mention something really, really awesome. Okay. Oh yeah, without probably mentioning anything more, this is my housekeeping. I do want to mention that, as of this moment, it will change. As of yesterday it turned over. I mean, for Friday and Saturday, it was stuck. And now I found out why. As of yesterday, and as of right now, I'm looking at it right as we speak, we are 42. Not 4,200, not 420. No, we are 42 views away from the magical, mystical 10,000 views here on Pop. And we are sitting pretty at 96 subscribers. So, we are 4 subs away. 4 subs away. And 42. 42 views, folks. That's all it's going to take. I don't know what's going to happen after 10,000. I just had a goal. And I had a goal to get to 1,000 subscribers. No, subscribers. That would be great. I had a goal to get to 1,000 hits. And it happened. Rather quickly, actually. And then, I had a goal to go further. And I had a goal to go further, get to 5,000 hits. And that happened. And, you know, I mean, it's funny because we started this back on June 13th. On a Thursday, June 13th, I started paying attention to actually what we had. Well, we were 7,638 views away on June 13th from that 10,000. We fast forward all the way to yesterday, and we are officially 42 left. Which means, in essence, we got over 7,400 hits. It's been amazing, and you guys and girls out there, thank you so, so much for being able to get us there. And we are going to reach this goal within the next few days. Now, I'm still not at 100 subs yet, but we're working on that. We'll get there soon. So thank you out there. That's one of my first things I want to talk about. I know I'm supposed to shoot out a video about what's been going on with Halloween Horror Nights, and trust me, it'll come. I wanted to wait until San Diego Comic-Con was over, so they had officially announced Walking Dead returning and Resident Evil, like everyone was predicting. That did not happen. But the latest video that was posted on Evil Takes Root basically told me that there was a severed ear found in a pretty little package in the backpack that PS found and documented to us on the video. Well, as someone so eloquently put it on the Horror Unearthed Facebook page, I don't watch The Walking Dead, but apparently Daryl Dixon wears a severed ear around his neck. So, I don't know more about it than that, so that means that as of this moment, I think it's pretty much a foregone conclusion. It's not announced, but our next IP will be announced as the return of The Walking Dead. So, there's that. Oh god, I have some really awesome news today, too. It's official, and it'll be official in a couple of hours, so as soon as I do my NXT and SmackDown recap video later today, yeah, you're getting 3 wrestling recaps in the span of 2 days, so be happy about that. Anyway, and I'm focusing on 3 different programs, too, so I've been very behind on things. I'm very sorry about that, but I'll discuss that in a minute. One of the big news things I want to talk about right now is the Grand Floridian. This close, it's in my grasp right now. The DVC owner that I'm working with is from California. So obviously they are 3 hours behind us right now. So it is about 8:19. DVC offices, I believe, open up at 9 a.m. So as soon as that is taken care of, I will hopefully get a message on Facebook, and that'll tell me that Suro and Disney, first day before reunion on December 4th this year, is going to be spent finally living out a dream he's had ever since he was a little boy. I will be staying at the Grand Floridian on my first day before reunion starts this year. And it is almost 100% guaranteed right now. It's 100% guaranteed, it really is. The thing about it is I'm debating what I want to do. I was offered this, it was $238. So in essence, I'm saving like $400 for it if I rent that way. Or I could wait until August 4th, take my chances, and hope that it's still available. I'm not doing that. And on top of that, what I can do now is I can take those 14 points I have left over, the 12 points I have from the Saratoga Springs that I can get rid of. Saratoga Springs. Oh god, it's been a long day. The Saratoga Springs that I have already, I'm going to cancel that. Since it's not 30 days, I get to bank those points. I'm going to take those 14 points, I'm going to book them into next year, and next year, Suro and Disney is staying at Bay Lake Tower at the Contemporary on the day before reunion, which means in 3 years, Poly in 2012, Grand Floridian in 2013, and the Contemporary in 2014. That's right. I will have been able to attain my final goal. And in 2015, oh boy, that's the big one. Disney World and Disneyland in the same year. Same week, actually. So that's gonna I've done it in the same year before. I've never done it in the same week, so it's gonna be awesome. We'll see how that works out. So that's housekeeping right now. Oh yeah, I should tell you right now, I've been very busy at work lately. With those 4 movies, company thought we were kind of going to be down a bit, so needless to say, there wasn't as many people on the schedule, but that pretty much got rectified. And Saturday, I was scheduled till 6. I left at 11:41. And Sunday, I wasn't even scheduled at all. I pulled the Dante. I'm not even supposed to be here today, and I got an extra 5 hours, so that's awesome. And we look forward to next week, which we're getting Wolverine. And hopefully, limited release, wider releases of maybe stuff like The Way, Way Back, or potentially Fruitvale Station, or the to-do list. These are all possibilities. Oh yeah, Athens needs to get their stuff together right now because their digital projector is still rather screwed. Needless to say, the Much Ado About Nothing showing, most likely in the college auditorium, that's the only way I can think about it, has been canceled until further notice. So hopefully that will get taken care of sooner rather than later. And then just like AJ said last night when I talked to him on the phone, it won't end up like another East, which is something that we still did not see. So there's always that. Okay, apologies done, housekeeping's out of the way, so I want to issue an apology again. First off, this video should have been shot on Thursday night, Friday morning. I'll throw this out. Full disclosure, Thursday night, I got home late from RIPD and Red 2. Red 2 probably got out about 11:41, I believe, something like that. And I didn't feel like doing anything after that. I did watch Impact. I did take notes, I just didn't feel like shooting a video. And Friday, of course, we had to get up early. Had to get up early for The Conjuring. We had a lot of day of shooting video, a lot of stuff. Like I said, we shoot the reviews, versus, and Summer of Tarantino all in the same span of time. So by that time, I was kind of wiped. I didn't want to do anything else. Yesterday, I was not planning on working. Oh, sorry, Saturday, I was not planning on working all day. I did, so I couldn't shoot a video there. Yesterday, I was not planning on working during the day, and by the time I was done, I didn't feel like shooting a video there. I already had 3 days of content, so what I thought I'd do is I would double stack today. I would talk Impact on this video, and I would talk NXT and SmackDown on the next video. So what I'm doing right now, I vacuumed the house, I've cleaned the house, I've mopped the house, I've got laundry started, I've had breakfast, we're good on that, and now I am shooting you this Impact recap from Thursday night. I'm sorry about this. I promise this will not be this way. I can't say it will never happen again, because I'm not going to be a liar. It may, but I'm going to try my best not to make sure this happens again. The NXT and SmackDown recap that I'm shooting next, I was supposed to be done on Saturday, and obviously with the way my schedule was, didn't work out that way. So hopefully I can get that taken care of. I've had NXT on my computer since Thursday. I've not been able to watch it. But I want to talk about Impact for Thursday night. And Impact was a special edition of Impact, and this Impact was Destination X. And of course, we're still knee-deep in the Bound for Glory series, and Magnus is still sitting pretty up top. We'll talk about that later. Well, there's been some problems with TNA lately. They had a house show last night in, was it Cape Girardeau, Missouri? I believe that's it. I don't have it in front of me, and you don't want to see me type like that, so obviously I'm not going to. Something like that. And there was only 6 workers that were able to work the show, given the fact that a lot of them did not have their Missouri wrestling license. I've not worked promotions in a state that needed licensing. I've never worked in Kentucky before, so obviously I don't have a Kentucky wrestling license. I've worked in Ohio, Pennsylvania, and West Virginia, which means I don't need a wrestling license to work there. So there's always that. So there's 6 people that worked the show, and refunds were offered by Pat Kenny, actually. Simon Diamond. He came out and offered refunds for the show, explained that the Athletic Commission would not clear most of the superstars to work the show due to the fact that they did not have a Missouri wrestling license. So hopefully this will be rectified before TNA tapes Impact in St. Louis in September. So I believe it's the week before I go home, actually. But the thing about it is, it actually is the week before I go home, because the day I go home is a Thursday, and that would be the 19th, so who knows. Anyway, I do want to talk about that, so I do want to discuss what's been going on lately. TNA has been in shambles lately, and it really sucks. And everyone and their mother has their own 2 cents about this. Well, I'm tossing mine in as well. Obviously, I'm still going to support the company. You call me a TNA apologist, you can. It was like, oh, and you just love TNA. I was like, I do love TNA because I want to see a viable second promotion in the wrestling industry. I really do, and this is what TNA could be. Now, TNA is losing ground by the day, but the product is still solid. So, there's a couple things I don't agree with, but I mean, I've discussed that over time, and I'm unhappy with a couple of the firings and releases, but I'll talk about that in a second. So, before we get into anything, I do want to discuss the firings and the releases that have happened. Here's some things. I'm not going to do this in any particular order. I've got a list, and WrestleZone.com actually gave me a list here of all the releases to date as of right now. More probably coming in the near future. It's funny because ODB was actually was talking to some fans the other day. She's like, I'm not leaving my phone on because I don't want to be next. So, there's always that. But, let's talk about this. And I'll talk about before we get into Destination X, I'll talk about like I said, we'll start with the bad, then we'll go all the good. So, you want to hear me bash TNA? It's not going to happen. I'm not going to bash TNA, but I will fault them on their problems. I will talk about that right now. So I'll talk about the people that TNA got rid of. TNA released Joey Ryan. That was a huge mistake. I think Joey Ryan is a great talent. I think he is charismatic as all get out. I think that, he's already back in NWA Hollywood. I believe he worked their taping and took back their television championship. I think I read that on one of the websites the other day. So Joey Ryan's just fine. He'll be doing good. He'll go back to Ring of Honor. Well, actually, he'll probably go to Ring of Honor. He'll stay at PWG. Sky's the limit, Joey Ryan. He'll be fine. Could he be in WWE? Yes, and I think he'd be awesome in NXT, but I don't know what they do with him. Would they change his gimmick? Obviously, a 70s porn star is not going to work in this PG era of WWE. Now, if Val Venus was still with the company, that'd be a different story, and that would be a good tag team, and that's what I would do. But you're not going to do that. So, there's always that. Well, then you had a release I didn't even know about. Madison Rayne, who is somebody I really, really like, and I think she's absolutely beautiful, and I think she's a really great talent that not enough people actually paid attention to. She's an Ohio girl. Actually, she started out with Ohio Championship Wrestling, Big Gun Jeff Cannon's promotion in Coshocton, Ohio. And she did a lot of indie work. She basically made her way to TNA. She ended up trying to start a family, and she got released. I don't know how that happened. I don't know why that happened. Cost-cutting measures. I don't know. Rampage Jackson needs $60,000 a second. So needless to say, you have to pay him more. And we'll talk about Rampage Jackson later on. I have some idle thoughts about him. Anyway, Madison Rayne was a terrible elimination. Once she is able to wrestle again, I think she would fit really well in the WWE. I think she'd be a good foil for SmackDown. I think she'd be a really good heel diva in SmackDown. Or you can, like, make her a babyface. Like, dye her hair blonde again and make her a babyface. You could do that way. She fits really well in NXT. I think she worked really well there. Crimson. Crimson's a big surprise because he's been doing so well in OVW, but they got rid of him too. He's a big monster. He's 7 foot tall. He doesn't have very good charisma, but he's got the WWE look. So will he end up in WWE? I think it's pretty much a certainty. Given the fact that we've seen a lot of people in the past, big guys that have almost no talent, Nathan Jones, I'm looking your way, got to the company before. So Crimson has some talent, so he could make it, and I think he will. Taylor Hendricks, that's a big shock there, actually. If you're a gut check participant and you were selected or not selected, you might not want to answer your phone anytime soon, or you may not want to show up to work because you might be laughed at and say, hey, by the way, didn't I fire you? So, or didn't I release you? Sorry, I have to be PC on this. It's the, I have to look at it from the Ryan Bingham way of looking at it. Yeah, didn't I fire you? No, you just got released. It's okay. It's all fine. So, a little up in the air reference for everyone if you're picking up what I'm putting down. So, that was not a very big one. She was okay in OVW. She's doing pretty well. Has a nice look. Really nice to look at. Serviceable in the ring. NXT, yeah, I could see that easily. Here's some shocks. There's 4 shocks right off the top. And I'm not even going to talk about... Actually, no. I'm going to talk about the front office shocks. They released DLo Brown. So, apparently, he is officially a developmental agent. So, he's been helping with OVW. So, DLo's got released. Obviously, he was excommunicated from Aces and Eights and beaten down and obviously replaced by Mr. Anderson. So, he obviously was taken off television. But you noticed whenever there was some sort of a pull-apart that would involve management, you'd have Al Snow, Pat Kenny, and DLo Brown come out. Well, DLo ended up with a storyline. Al Snow did a storyline with Joey Ryan, and Pat Kenny, well, he's been off television, not really doing anything, so he's probably the one who's got the most to gain in this. Actually, Devon officially became an agent because of this firing, so Devon took his place, basically, so that's... Props to Devon for having an office job now. One of the bigger ones was Vice President of Talent Relations and Programming, Bruce Prichard, who is probably the most hated man in the TNA locker room at one point. This is the guy that almost let Bobby Roode slip away from TNA. And he's also the reason that the aforementioned event in Missouri at the house show the other night happened. He is the person that was in charge of it, and obviously he screwed things up. So because of that factor, it's probably good to see Bruce Prichard out of the company. And I know a lot of people are going to be a lot happier about that. I don't know who's going to step up. You gotta think that David Lagana is probably going to step up, and that's awesome, because David Lagana knows how to run a wrestling company, and I really think he'd be awesome in charge of TNA. I think another thing you could possibly do is bring the Jarretts back in. Jeff Jarrett has been off television for a long time. You don't necessarily have to bring him back to TV right away. I think you will see him before the year is over, if not after Bound for Glory. But what I think is probably going to happen is the Jarretts will probably be involved with creative yet again. One of the big things you probably should do is get rid of Hulk Hogan and Eric Bischoff. I know a lot of people have been talking about that. You know, it's fine if there's a reasoning for it. And I can see some reasoning for this stuff, but not for all. Will Vince welcome back Bruce Prichard with open arms? I highly doubt it. But then again, he could bring back Brother Love, because he likes to bring back the old throwback. So he could bring Bruce Prichard back into creative, but I think that's a bad idea. I don't think Bruce Prichard and Triple H really mesh very well, but I don't know. I don't know if Bruce Prichard and John Laurinaitis mesh very well, but again, I don't know. And I don't know what the relationship between Bruce Prichard and Vince McMahon is. I really just don't know. So, let's go to the Final Four. The Final Four, these are the biggest shocks of the whole situation. Christian York. Christian York obviously started out in a tag team. Joey Matthews, Bad Street Boys, working for the NWA. They had a cup of coffee in ECW right before the company's closing. Wrestled a lot of Carolina independents. They're connected to the Carolina Clique, you know, the Hardy Boy, the Omega Group, the Hardy Boys, and Jason Arndt, and Champagne, Marty Garner, and I'm trying to remember this off the top of my head here, and obviously Shannon Moore and Shane Helms. Obviously, they were the serial thrillers back then. But yeah, so they have a connection to them. So maybe, just maybe, Christian York get another shot at WWE. I don't know. Joey Mercury, his former tag team partner, Joey Matthews, is a agent. So it's a possibility that may get him a job. Matt Morgan, that's a big one. That's a big shock. Matt Morgan asked for his release and he was given it. So Matt Morgan is officially a free agent. Will he return to WWE? I think it's pretty much a certainty. And I think that it's going to happen sooner rather than later. Obviously, you need somebody to come back to the company. I don't know if he'll be a muscle, he'll be a face, he'll be a heel. It could go either way. So we'll find out sooner rather than later. I'll save my biggest loss for last, but obviously a lot of people would say this is one of the bigger losses, and that's Tara. Actually, Elisa Marie Varon, also known as Victoria, she left the company as well, so she is no longer in a company with TNA. Could she work in WWE? Yes, I really do think she'd be great if Victoria was brought back, maybe for a last run, and then make her like an agent in charge of the Divas division. So her and Sarah Del Rey could help mold the new variation of Divas, and I'll talk about that tomorrow's video, obviously, when we discuss the match that happened on NXT with Charlotte, Ric Flair's daughter Ashley, and Bayley, as well as next week's match, or should I say this week's match in a couple days, between Emma and Paige, the finals for the NXT Women's Championship. So I'm all over the page on this one. Pun not intended. The final one that I'm really shocked about is Luke Gallows. Okay. Luke Gallows is a wrestler's wrestler, a man's man, if you will. He is, I believe Colt Cabana coined him the phrase grizzled young vet. I mean, Gallows is probably a little bit older than I am, and he does not look it. He looks like a veteran. He looks like a veteran of the Ring Wars, and you could tell that in the way his demeanor is. And he is not jaded towards the wrestling business. He is full on ready to go, and if he has to go to Nigeria again with Cliff Compton, so be it. So basically beat down Power Uti. So, sorry, the great Power Uti. I have to call him the great. I guess it's some sort of a contract. I have this like contract for like 50 cents or something. Anyway, but basically, yeah, that's a big loss. I think Gallows, knowing so many people in WWE, Gallows' connection to CM Punk will probably get him a job. Then again, I say that when Colt Cabana still has not been hired by WWE. So who knows? I hope Gallows goes somewhere. I really can see him back in the WWE somewhere sooner rather than later. I don't think he'll go to NXT. I think Gallows would be a good fit for the Wyatt family, but I've talked about that before. I know a lot of people are saying, don't make it anymore. It's just going to be the three. It's going to be Harper, Rowan, and Bray Wyatt. No. I get that. I understand where you're coming from. But I think Luke Gallows and the Briscoe brothers would be good fits. Then again, the Briscoes are pretty much eliminated due to the fact that they re-signed with Ring of Honor. So there you go. So that's pretty much what happened. More cuts, I'll talk about them when they come. So now that Sadness is done, let's talk Destination X, shall we? So, another debut happened. So, but we'll talk about that in a minute. So, Bully Ray comes out and he goes, all week everyone's been talking about Chris Sabin. You know what? He doesn't have a shot in hell of beating me. So he calls Brooke out to the ring and she comes out and she's like, you know what else do you want from me? And he shows her his wedding ring, obviously, and says, you know what, I'm moving on, and so should you. Obviously, it's glaring over the fact that Brooke legitimately got engaged to be married a couple weeks ago, maybe a month ago. It was a little bit ago, either way. And it's being referenced on TNA, but I don't know if they really should do that, because they're pushing towards Bully and Brooke becoming the McMahon-Helmsley era of TNA. But I don't know if they're going to do that now. Who knows? Bully's like, you move on when I say you do. So Hulk Hogan comes out. He's like, knock it off. Enough is enough. So they walk to the back, and Bully stops her. And Kurt Angle gets on the Titantron. Kurt Angle gets on the big screen and basically says, Main Event Mafia are going to be fighting the Aces and Eights tonight. You're going to lose in a fair fight once and for all, and there is nothing you can do about it. Is your brotherhood stronger than our family? Interesting. So, we get our first match of the evening, our next segment of the evening, is a Bound for Glory series matchup between the still sitting at 0 points It Factor Bobby Roode taking on Mr. 7 points right now, a double, the greatest man who ever lived, Austin Aries. So, midway through the match, let's go to it. Double R Spinebuster, gets a 1-2 and a kick out. Bobby Roode kicks away, puts him on the top turnbuckle, climbs up, goes for the superplex, gets countered. He rings the bell. If you don't remember, it's put the arms out and the clap against the side of the head. He does that 3 times, and he falls off hard to the canvas. He goes for the 450 splash. 1-2. Roode kicks out right at 2.5. So they trade blows, whips him in. Backdrop on the ramp. So they're fighting on the ramp now. A shoulder, and misses that slingshot senton. And Aries with a deafening tope through the ropes into the steps at ringside. So he tosses him back in, nails the missile drop kick, nails the IED, goes for the brainbuster, gets countered, fireman's carry, countered into a roll-up, countered into the crossface by Bobby Roode, rolled back into a pinning attempt, and basically Roode gets countered into a crucifix roll-up, 1-2, and kick out. Goes for a backslide, does Bobby Roode, 1-2, kick out. Aries nails a spike DDT, and charges in, puts the boots up, goes for the spear, counter, going for the last chancery, gets countered to the brainbuster, into a snap clothesline on Austin Aries, goes for the perfect plex, reversed, rolling elbow, and goes for the brainbuster. He knee strikes out of it, counter, fireman's carry, elbow out, goes for the brainbuster, finally hits it, 1-2-3, Austin Aries gets a big 7 points. That's a lot to talk about, folks. So, Bobby Roode is beside himself. He's the fact that it is almost the end of July, and I can actually say that now. It's awesome, because that means we're close to August, which means really close to being home again. Oh, yeah. Oh, by the way, 59 days as of right now. So, basically, or I might be wrong on that. Let me check. Let me check. I'm actually going to check this. How many days until Sir Owen is home again? Sir Owen being home again is not very long from now. 59 days, I was correct. Yay, Owen did math for a change. It's awesome. So, Roode's beside himself. It's the end of July almost, and he is still goose-egged in the Bound for Glory series. So he throws a nice little temper tantrum at ringside, destroys a computer monitor, and tosses the chairs into the ring, including Taz's desk chair that he's sitting at ringside, his office chair. Tosses that in the ring. So, interesting to see where Bobby Roode goes from here. So, apparently Chavo is there for the official reunion. Well, televised, okay, sorry. Impact reunion of LAX. Of course, they got back together during one of the one-night-only pay-per-views. They teamed again. But, he's like, I'm going to win the X Division Championship. And then, Hernandez, you're going to win the Bound for Glory series, so you know what? Next year, right here, Destination X, it's going to be me versus you. Yeah, that's not going to happen. So, Aces and Eights obviously have to talk about the elephant in the room, and that is the departure of Doc, the Director of Chaos. And Mr. Anderson sums it up pretty simply, saying, basically, Nux decided he wanted to vote not for his so-called friend, but vote for Mr. Anderson, so that got Gallows to quit. So needless to say, Mr. Anderson still in charge of Aces and Eights. So we got a brand new X Division Championship, which I know a lot of people are talking about. It's the SmackDown title meets the X Division title, meets the old X Division title, meets the NXT Championship. somewhat a mixture of all three of those, but it still looks nice. And we're getting 3 qualifying matches tonight. The winners of all 3 qualifying matches will go on into a final 3-way Ultimate X match next week, as in Impact in like 3 days from now. And they're going to be going into that match to determine the brand new X Division champion. Obviously, we know Chris Sabin gave up the X Division championship for a title opportunity against Bully Ray here at Destination X. So, we're going to start off with 3 3-way dances. Basically, the past, the present, and the future. That's it. So the past, X Division Stars of the Past. This was actually really good, and I really wish I would have done more of the match, but I kind of waited too long to start writing, so sorry about that. Basically, hold on, let me write this down real quick. Where are you, Nelson? Make sure you're using the same finish. Where's the Ace Crusher? Ace 187. Yay, I got it. So, the return of the notorious 187 Homicide, Maple Leaf Muscle, Petey Williams, and the player from the Himalayas, Sanjay Dutt. So this is the past X Division title 3-way qualifying match. So Sanjay gets nailed with the 187 or the Gringo Cutter or whatever you want to call it. I mean, Ace Crusher, Koji Cutter, whatever you want to call it. So he nails it and he goes up top. He gets shoved off the top rope. He gets crotched up top and he goes for the Gringo Killer or screw it, it's the Cop Killer. He goes for the Cop Killer. He gets countered into the Canadian Destroyer. And Cop Killer on Petey Williams, 1, 2, and no, he barely kicks out. So Homicide gets nailed by Dutt with a Misty Flip or a Standing Slice Spread number 2. And I believe that actually has a name. Let's see if it does. I'm pretty sure it does. Hold on 1 second, boys and girls. I will give you a topic. Give me a second. I think it does have a name, actually. Well, I know it's a Misty Flip. I know it's a Standing Slice Spread number 2, so, there we are. Yay, Sanjay Dutt. Standing Slice Spread number 2. Yeah, I guess it's officially called the Sanjay Cutter. It's also called a Shiranui, which is another name for it as well. That's actually the name that they used in SmackDown vs. Raw games. So, he nails that. And Sanjay comes off the top with the Moonsault Double Stomp, and that is all she wrote. 1, 2, 3, and Sanjay Dutt gets to move on to the X Division title 3-way next week, or in 3 days on Impact. We get the present, which would be Kenny King, Chavo Guerrero, and Manic, of course. We're talking about TJ Perkins, aka Suicide. It's now called Manic. So this match actually was pretty good too. I mean, these weren't great matches. They were okay. They were serviceable matches. Middle rope drop kick on Kenny King, 1, 2, and a kick out. So Manic comes up top, goes to the flying body press on Chavo and Kenny King at the same time. No pin there, of course, because it was basically just done to take them both down. Whip Chavo into Kenny King, a crucifix on Chavo, the roll up 1, 2, and a kick out. So 3 amigos on Manic, so basically only 2. The third one gets broke up by Kenny King. Kenny King gets nailed with 3 amigos, 3 actually in succession. Chavo goes up top with a frog splash, gets caught up there, shotgun knee, send Manic into the ropes, which of course crosses him up there. Leaping kick from Kenny King, catches him in the side of the head on Chavo. It's kind of like a leaping enziguri kick, step up enziguri kick, basically what it is. And Kenny King walks into Manic's finish, which is a double chicken wing into a double knees gutbuster, 1, 2, 3, and Manic moves on as the second competitor to meet up with Sanjay Dutt. So we get the Main Event Mafia coming out, and they want the Aces and Eights for a fight tonight. They're ready. Aces and Eights, come on down, boys. So, face the family. So the Aces are on the big screen. They're like, you know what? You're cordially invited to come back here. So the Mafia is thirsty, and we're going to drink your drinks and beat you down right now. So they go to the back, and Mr. Anderson is by the door, and it's basically just an ambush. Aces and Eights jumping from behind. Bully tosses Kurt Angle into the back of a pickup truck. They drive away. They barricade the other members of the Main Event Mafia in the door strangely with the rest of the Aces and Eights, which is very strange. And they're locked in, so who knows if they're going to come back in the match. This is the future. The future is Rubik's, which is obviously Jigsaw. Rockstar Spud, who is the winner of the British Boot Camp, which is a lot better than TNA Gut Check, because Rockstar Spud, even though he's on OVW, he still has a job. He's actually in a New Rockers tag team with Ryan Howell, who, of course, worked the Big O on Impact a couple weeks ago. So, yeah, they are. I don't know if they're Southern Tag Team Champions yet or not, but I know they were leading towards it if they're not. Or let me check to make sure. I think they might be. Let me check. Rockstar Spud. Let's see if he's a tag champion yet. I don't think he is, but I could be wrong. Excuse me. Not yet. He's almost there, but he's not yet. Anyway, so let's talk about that now. I want to talk about the final person on this list. This is awesome. You know who the final person on this list is? Greg Marichulo. That name doesn't sound that familiar to people. But back in the day, there was a tag team in WWE that got grossly underutilized. Obviously, there was obviously Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins. And then there was this other tag team, which didn't have as much acclaim, but they were, they kind of rode together, and they kind of worked against each other during a lot of the house shows, and a lot of the dark matches, and a lot of the superstars, stuff like that. And that was the team of Kalen Croft and Trent Beretta. Well, with the Z True Long Island story, Trent Beretta actually got turned into a little event on each episode. Basically, like, where's Trent? Where's Trent? And they actually played that up. Trent Beretta, of course, got released from WWE, and he started toiling away on the independent circuit. And he did very well for himself. Well, Greg Marichulo is Trent Beretta. And, oh my God, Trent Beretta back on WWE television did not happen. Trent Beretta on TNA with all the cuffs off, that did happen. And this is totally awesome. I totally love this idea. So let's talk about the match. And a step up into an elbow on Rockstar Spud. He actually, it's funny because I gotta find Marichulo's page for a second. Just give me 1 second. Trent Beretta. Here you are. I gotta make sure. I like this guy, so obviously I want to call his matches properly. So, basically, it's a move he does a lot. It's a springboard back elbow to cornered opponent. That's the wiki term for it. That's basically what it was. And there's a high kick, goes for a German on Rockstar Spud, does Rubik's 1-2 and a kick out. So he charges in, he misses the charge. A kick to the back of the head for a 2 count, like an enziguri kick, kind of a shining black, basically is what it was. Missile drop kick on Rockstar Spud. Tope con hilo on Rockstar Spud by Marichulo, and basically he tosses him back in, goes up top, gets caught up top with a super kick. Rubik's goes for coast to coast and nails it. Spud tosses him out to try to steal the pin, 1-2 and a kick out. And he gets caught with, this was very strange, he nailed the Jig and Tonic, which is my good buddy Shane Storm's Hillary Duff driver, and gets the 1-2-3. So Greg Marichulo is going to be the third superstar in this three-way. So you're going to be seeing Sanjay Dutt taking on Manic, taking on Greg Marichulo, Trent Beretta. So it's going to be awesome. I think it would have been really funny if they would have booked it so Rubik's lost to his end finish. That would have been hilarious. But they didn't go with that. So it was still cool, though. I liked it. Mickie James gets in the ring, and she puts over her Nashville concert from last week, basically saying, oh, that was the greatest night ever, and I wasn't talking about what happened on Impact with Gail Kim and Taryn Terrell in the ladder match, which was awesome, by the way. She was talking about her Nashville concert. So Gail Kim comes out, and she's going to come for Mickie James next week. Is Gail Kim returning to her babyface ways? I really think that will happen. I don't have a problem with this either. I think this works really well. Gail going babyface again, given the fact she's the most decorated babyface knockout in TNA history. I think that's a good idea. With Mickie as the heel, Gail Kim as the babyface, I think we have a really good dichotomy, and that's going to work out really well. I think it's going to be awesome matches. And obviously you can't negate Taryn Terrell either. Taryn Terrell obviously is still going to be lurking on the outside for her eventual rematch. And Velvet Sky is there too. But then again, like I said, if you turn Gail Kim face, you have almost no heels. You have to find someone else to come in as heels. And Lady Tapa, you're not doing this. Obviously, Taylor Hendricks is not going to work now. So maybe keep Gail Kim heel. I mean, I'd like to see Gail go babyface, but we don't have enough heels in the company right now. Knockouts division is in shambles right now. You just got rid of Tara, you just got rid of Taylor Hendricks, so needless to say, they need to sign some more women to the company, so hopefully that'll happen sooner rather than later. So next week, AJ Styles is going to be facing Jeff Hardy. And, oh yeah, sorry, I forgot about this. I was waxing poetic about the Knockouts division. She basically, Mickie goes to slap her, she ducks a slap, Mickie gets slapped. They have a nice little pull apart, and Mickie runs away to fight another day, so yeah. So next week, Bound for Glory series, the match starts and going to be in 3 days. AJ Styles and Jeff Hardy for the Bound for Glory series. That's going to be awesome. Let's talk BFG series, shall we? So, I gotta make sure I got this little paper. This is the Bound for Glory series. As far as you know, this could even be my shopping list, but it's the Bound for Glory series. Now, I'm not talking about house shows or anything like that, and that'll probably be discussed. As of this very moment, that stuff, I'm not mentioning that. It's not outside of mind, it's just I haven't mentioned it because it hasn't been listed on television yet, so. Bound for Glory series. Okay, dead last, Joseph Park, still sitting at the -10. Obviously, he got himself disqualified. In the BFG series, you get yourself disqualified, automatic -10 points. So, Jay Bradley, Frankie Kazarian, and surprisingly Bobby Roode still sitting at 0. Now, there's been some matches after this, obviously, but I don't want to discuss those. There are a couple people that have more points in the BFG series, but we'll talk about that later. I think Samoa Joe actually lessened the gap between him and Magnus, but we'll talk about that at another time. Sean Hernandez, he's got 7. And Mr. Anderson has 7. So AJ Styles has 12. And then we got a tie with 14 points for the Fallen Angel Christopher Daniels and a double Austin Aries, which means I think they're going to face off against each other sooner rather than later. Probably because of the fact that, I don't know, they have the same amount of points. Jeff Hardy's got 17. Samoa Joe's got 19, and Magnus sitting pretty with 49 points. So obviously, that win in the Gauntlet match 2 weeks ago on Impact, basically, I can say that now because technically it's this week, next week. So yeah, 2 weeks ago on Impact, basically ended that right there. So he is sitting pretty with a 30-point lead in the BFG series on television. So obviously, when that changes this week with Samoa Joe's win added to it, I think that that's going to add to it as well. So that's interesting. All right. Main event. TNA World Heavyweight Championship on the line. The Motor City Machine Gun, Chris Sabin, taking on your current reigning and defending TNA World Heavyweight Champion and the president of the Aces and Eights, the biggest heel in TNA and arguably one of the biggest heels in the wrestling industry today, Bully Ray. So the Aces and Eights come out on the ramp midway through the match. Then the main event Mafia come out, so it's like, okay, fine, we're going to have a fair fight. It's basically going to be a lumberjack match now without anything. So they're both at ringside, and all of a sudden, Bully Ray immediately starts targeting the knee. And he goes right to work on the knee over and over again. He takes the knee of Sabin, he rams it hard into the steel ramp, tosses him back over the top, back into the ring, and he jaws with Rampage Jackson on the floor. Bully kicks the leg out from under Sabin, and then he does it again when he gets back up. So he's really working the leg at this point. Obviously trying to build the sympathy for Chris Sabin. Makes sense. So he jaws with Kurt Angle on the outside, and he tries to pull the knee out of the socket like a one-man wishbone, basically. Leg grapevine on Sabin. He exposes the knee. The bare knee is exposed. So he drives the bare knee into the canvas, And 5 big forearms by Sabin staggers Bully Ray. He's fighting on 1 foot right now, so it works really well. Clothesline, he goes down. He removes the knee pad and the knee brace, and again, Bully clips the knee out from under him. He DDTs the knee, and Sabin again fighting back on one foot. Forearms on Bully. Bully kicks the leg out again, and he mocks Hulk Hogan's poses, the Hogan taunts and everything. So he whips Sabin in, but Sabin's leg gives out before he's able to go to the corner. So Sabin's literally on 1 foot right now. He goes for the charging avalanche in the corner. Sabin gets the good boot up in the face. He goes up top. He gets crotched up there by Bully. He goes for a superplex. He connects 1-2, and Sabin kicks out. So goes for the Bully bomb. Gets countered. Step up Insiguri, and he goes up top. Missile drop kick, and Baby Hebner gets knocked down for a second. He goes for the cover, and obviously there's no referee. So Mr. Anderson slides in the hammer, the ball-peen hammer that the Aces and Eights have used so many times. The reason why Bully Ray is the World Heavyweight Champion in the first place, because that's when he hit Jeff Hardy with the hammer at Lockdown and won the World Heavyweight Championship. Thus turning heel, obviously. So everyone hits the ring. All Aces and Eights fight. Kind of a little reminiscent of DX and the Nation fighting while Mick Foley and The Rock were in the ring. If you want to go back that far, that's probably a good way to describe it. So they brawl, and they all brawl at the back. So Bully swings the hammer. Back kick from Sabin. Grabs the hammer. Nails Bully Ray over the head with it. Oh, actually, no. I'll go to the real finishing sequence. He knocks him with a back kick. And he goes in, and he gets caught going for a backdrop. Bully goes for the powerbomb, picks him up like he's going to do the seated powerbomb like he always does over and over again. And bam! It's popped on the top of the head with the ball-peen hammer. And Sabin lands on top of Bully Ray. 1, 2, 3. And we have a brand new TNA World Heavyweight Champion in Chris Sabin. So, yeah. I understand the storyline you were trying to tell with this match. Obviously, you wanted Sabin to be the sympathetic one, and you want Bully Ray to be the evil, menacing heel trying to destroy Chris Sabin and trying to silence him from ever getting another World Heavyweight Championship shot. That worked fine for me. The match could have been a little bit better. I'd like to have seen a lot more of a showcase of Chris Sabin's abilities. I think when they do the eventual rematch between Bully and Sabin, when probably Bully wins the title back so he can lose to Hulk Hogan and Bound for Glory. Whoops. But, when they do that, I really think that they're going to have Sabin come out and actually face Bully Ray in a wrestling match. I think this was more about a fight. Bully Ray saying, you're not on my turf, you're not better than me, you're not even on my level, so obviously I'm going to knock you down a few pegs, and he ended up losing. The next match, I think, should be a more back-and-forth encounter, kind of like when 3D faced off against the Motor City Machine Guns back in the day when TNA had the most awesome tag team division in the wrestling industry. So, that was Destination X. Does it work as a television show instead of a pay-per-view? Yeah, I think it does. You lose an extra hour, obviously. Obviously, with Impact being 2 hours and the pay-per-views being 3, you lose that extra hour. But then again, that extra hour didn't really matter. There could have been more gaga. There could have been more matches, obviously. Could have been more gaga. They didn't really do that. They had stuff with Aces and Eights in the Main Event Mafia. You had to do stuff there. You had Mickie James come out and put herself over to lead to that match with Gail Kim that we know is coming sooner rather than later. Obviously, we had to do some dissension between the ranks. LAX, I don't know why they wanted to do that, but I guess they're doing that because maybe Chavo was going to get jealous of Homicide being back in the picture. You had 3 awesome qualifiers to determine who's going to face off in a X Division Championship match next week on Impact. You know, the one that happens in 3 days. So that was pretty good. And Sabin finally wins the TNA World Heavyweight Championship, and he moves on to his next challenger. So who knows what that's going to be. It's going to be a rematch against Bully Ray, if I had to guess. I'm probably going to say it's going to happen at Hardcore Justice. Hardcore Justice has officially been announced as another one of these TNA free pay-per-views that's going to lose an hour. So you're not losing the TNA pay-per-views. You're just not having to pay for them. You're losing an hour, you're not going to have to pay for them. But you're still getting quality main event style wrestling on TNA. And that's what you've come to expect. So, TNA is the wrestling, I mean, the politics, the backstage hoopla, all the gaga that's been going on over a year. I'm going to go with AJ's word, his terminology that he's used on every video this week. The hullabaloo going on in TNA. Notwithstanding not being able to pay superstars and paying people late and checks not clearing, all this stuff like back before ECW folded, basically, when Paul Heyman had to fold the company before he started working for WWE. That all notwithstanding, the wrestling has been pretty good lately, and the wrestling's been pretty superb lately. So let's talk about the good things about Impact Wrestling and negate the bad things for right now. Enough people are talking about that, so I'm here to try to mention some good things that are going on in Impact right now. Bully Ray is an awesome heel. Obviously, we know that. I like the fact that Chris Sabin wins the World Heavyweight Championship. I think that also allows for some more fresh matches with the title on the line. I still want to see Christopher Daniels win the Bound for Glory series, but I don't... That's not going to happen. I know, it's sad. You've got, obviously, the Main Event Mafia and the Aces and Eights have to blow off very soon. They're going to have a battle. They actually have a battle on one of the One Night Only pay-per-views, the Hardcore Justice pay-per-view on the One Night Only thing. But maybe that got scrapped. I don't know. I'm not exactly sure. No, actually, I think it's on a pay-per-view right now, but I'm not positive. Anyway, so there's always that. Well, it's a dark, bleak time right now if you're a TNA fan, but seriously, support this company. I know there's been a lot of bad things. Stick with it, guys. Really do, honestly. TNA, I mean, they can surprise you. And if this is the end, let them go out in a blaze of glory. Seriously. I mean, Chris Sabin winning the World Heavyweight Championship, that's a pretty big thing right now. And Mick slapping a face to Alex Shelley for leaving the company. Then again, I'm sure he's really happy in Japan right now. So there's always that. But once again, thank you guys and girls out there for watching. Thank you for getting us so close to 10,000. We'll be there by the time the week's over. We'll be there with the next 2 days, to be totally honest. Will and Ben content coming later today, actually. They're going to be filming. There'll be a new Will tutorial coming out talking about the new Copperhead reveal from, and a female Copperhead reveal for Arkham Origins. And Ben is going to be talking another Gogo Bordello video, and that's going to be really entertaining like the last one was. So there's going to be that content still to come, and NXT and SmackDown still to come later today. So thank you guys and girls out there for watching. If you want to follow me, you can. It's at SuroandDisney on Twitter. You can send me an email, suroanddisney@gmail.com. If you want to become part of this Popcaster revolution, go right ahead. That's the way to do it. And until tomorrow, boys and girls, or in this case, until a couple hours from now, that's all I got to say about that.